Leg strength. Here's one of my favorite workouts that's incredibly effective and super simple, and it's going to carry over to everything you do in life. We got a 1 minute clock. It's a follow along video. I'm going to start my timer right now. Okay, let's go. You're going to want something for support. I've got a broomstick handle. A wall works really well. All right. You just can't see through the wall. So I'm going to start with my dropping. Boom. So I've dropped into my right side. My foot is straight. My arch, I'm honoring the natural arch of my foot. I'm pushing my thigh bone back. All right. My shin bone's out. My thigh bone's out. My right hand goes right on my right glute. And I'm feeling that thigh bone get back into that right haunch and that right glute. I'm using this as support. All right. Boom. My head is right over my foot. All right. Halfway there. So now I'm going to sit back even more. All right. Don't let that knee come forward. Don't let those hips come forward. I'm going to continue to sit back. And as I sit back, you can start to see the pattern. We're going to build on this during the course of the workout. All right. So the shin bone's out, the thigh bone goes out. And you'll notice I sit back even further, right? I start to open up my torso a little bit more. All right. We'll build on this pattern over the course of the workout. Now we got our left side. All right. Boom. My foot straight. I sit back into that left hip socket. I take my left hand, I put it right there on my left glute. I'll show you a different angle here as this workout goes along. But what I'm trying to activate is everything back in those haunches. My head is over my foot, right? I'm honoring the natural arch of my foot. My shin bone and thigh bone's out. My left hand goes right on that left haunch. And I'm just sitting back in. All right, so now I'm going to just get a little bit more depth. And you can see the pattern that I'm trying to create here. As I start to go down lower, I set what's called a bigger bow, right? So that shin bone and thigh bone starts to open up. My spine and torso start to open up. And I keep that foot straight. We got 10 seconds, and we're going right back to that left side. We're going to build. This workout's going to build every round. All right, back to our drop-in. Boom. Foot straight. This doesn't have to be low. All right? What we're trying to concentrate on here is getting that thigh bone back and feeling the back chain and the haunches. All right? So again, foot straight. I'm on the fat pads of foot. I'm on the outside edge. I'm honoring the natural arch. Shin bone, thigh bone out. Right hand goes right on that right glute. And I'm just trying to get length here. All right? So think length from tailbone to skull, right? And I'm just getting into that back chain. All right, we're halfway there. So now we're going to go even lower. All right, so now we're going to really start to sink down in. All right, but as you see, as I sink down in, I start to open up that shin bone and thigh bone even more. My head never goes outside of my foot, right? My head stays right over that foot. As I go down, I'm not relieving any pressure on my haunches. I'm keeping all the pressure right there in those haunches. Let's go. Left side. So we're starting with that drop in. Boom. There it is. All right. Foot straight. Shin bone, thigh bone out. If you need finer details coaching on this, I have it. Right. I have longer detailed coachings on the drop in and what we're trying to accomplish here. All right. The big thing is you don't want your knees to come forward and your hips to come forward. We're trying to get that thigh bone back. And we're just sitting back right here. We're just sitting back into that left haunch. Not even worrying about depth. Now we're halfway. So now we're going to start to get some depth. All right. You're using support, right? Because we want to maintain perfect positions. So as I sit down into that left glute, that left haunch, that left hamstring, you can see everything starts to open up a little bit. But I'm pivoting and sitting everything right down into that left side, right? Boom. Round. Let's go. We're going back here, all right, to our right side drop-in. Hey, first 30 seconds, we're just concentrating on perfect position, all right? We're not worried about the burn. We're not worried about the depth. We just want to make sure everything's perfect. Our foot is straight. We're honoring the natural arch. The shin bone, thigh bone's out. The right hand goes right on the right haunch. Why? We want the shoulder and spine to open up, and that naturally happens. This, for most people in the beginning, if you have a wall to push against, that's going to help. Ooh, 30 seconds. All right. So now we're going to start to go down even further. All right. So can you get all the way down? Right. If you can't, hey, work whatever range you can, but I'm going to go all the way down. All right. So now that whole time as I come up, note my shin bone and thigh bone stay out. So I'm keeping this bow the whole time. Big bow, late bow. Big bow, late bow. All right, good. Left side dropping. Boom, foot straight. Dropping in. Left hand goes on the left haunch. Sitting back into that left hip socket. All right? Here we're just trying to get some length and find some space. We're just holding this perfect position. All right? You'll notice everything is spun into this left haunch. All right? Even my back leg. There's hardly any weight on that back leg. All right? All that weight, it's just there for support, that back leg, all right? Boom. Now we're going to sit down in. We're going to see, can you get down, right? Work whatever range you've got. You might have to play around with where you put your back leg, right? But you can see as I sit down, right, that shin bone and thigh bone starts to open up even more. Boom, right? Boom, right? Just sitting back into that left haunch, all right? I think this is the third round. So we're going to go 2 more rounds. Now we're cranking it up. We're back to our drop-in again. Boom. All right? We're back to our drop-in. You should know this by now. Right hand goes right on that right haunch. Left hand's there for support. All right? Boom. And I'm just trying to get this thigh bone. I'm pushing that thigh bone back. Right back into that haunch. Let's take a look at that shape. Right there. All right? There's that drop in. We're going to go all the way to the ground. Or, if you don't have access to the ground, that's fine. All right, so now we're going all the way down to the ground, and we're starting to work that pivot a little bit, all right? So now I open, big bow, late bow. Big bow, late bow. Big, late. Big, right? And we're pivoting. On that ball of foot, we're pushing that into the ground, and then we're pushing that thigh bone back. All right, now we're on that left side. We're dropping in. Use support. All right, so keep that wall, keep that broomstick handle there for support. I'm getting rid of it, but you should hang on to it. I've been doing this for a while, right? So hang on to that support. Boom. There's our drop-in. All right, I'm going to go to the ground in the final 30 seconds. You can always grab a yoga block, right, if you don't have access to the ground. But I want you to see this, right? So now there's that bow. Everything starts to open up. I'm pushing the ball of foot into the ground, right? So I've got a little swivel point on my ankle, right, and my hip, right, or my thigh bone, right? So my thigh bone goes right into that hip socket. Round 5. Hey, we're going to go straight to the ground this time, all right? You can grab a yoga block if you want, all right? Right straight to the ground, half kneeling. See that bow? Shin bone, thigh bone out. All right. And again, I'm pushing that ball of foot in. I'm sitting back into my haunch. And then pushing that thigh bone back, imagining I could take off sprinting at any moment. All right? Boom. All right? Imagine I could take off sprinting. All right, now I'm really getting everything involved. My ankle engine, my hip engine, my spinal engine, shoulder engine, pivoting, right? The knee is not collapsing, right? Why? Because my ankle bone, my inside ankle bone is high. Right? So I'm just pivoting right there in that hip and that ankle. All right, so now we're going back down to kneeling. Half kneeling, boom. See the bow shape. All right, we just start to work that range of motion. Knee doesn't collapse. Pressure ball of foot into the ground. We're just getting a little movement in here. Don't let those knees come forward. Right? If you're struggling, that's where you want to elevate the ground. Right? So we elevate that ground a little bit. Knee never collapses. Halfway there. Boom. All right, we're sitting back in. Boom. All right, use support. Use support. Whoo! Cooking now. 10 seconds. There's a lot of different ways we can work this pattern. With support's your best bet. Hey, that's it. Quick 10-minute burn, right? You got a minute on the right side, minute on the left. Showed you a couple different patterns that we can work on, right? Even at the end, you can see I start to trace the whole body. Much love and durability.